Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. Before we get into the actual reaction and analysis segment, I do want to say that I have joined on to participate in this year's Thankmas, which is run by a YouTuber named Jacksepticeye. Interesting name, but move past it. We're going to actually look at what he's doing. Thankmas is a fundraising event, and it is a way for YouTubers, streamers, pretty much anybody with a platform and a community to sort of come together and coordinate towards a fundraising cause, which happens to be Red Nose Day, a campaign whose mission is to end child poverty by funding programs that keep children safe, healthy, and educated. They bring food and financing to children who need it, especially during the winter season. And I think it's a very good fundraising cause. They do phenomenal work. They're vetted. I've checked them out. It's not like a scam or anything. Just Red Nose Day does a fantastic job all the time. They've been around for half a decade now, and they just continue to do phenomenal work. And I really appreciate Jacksepticeye kind of putting this whole event together, where all these people can come together and coordinate towards a cause. And Jack has stated that there is a donor who's going to match up to like $1 million or something as far as the fundraising goes. Every channel, person, personality, whatever, has their own campaign on Tiltify. So there is a critical reaction Thankmas campaign, but all of the donations get put towards Thankmas, which of course all goes towards Red Nose Day. So if you'd like, there's links in the description to get you to Tiltify to actually do the donation. There's information, links to read about Red Nose Day and read about Thankmas. If you're interested in any of that, go ahead and check it out. Like I said, links down in the description. And I've already donated to the campaign. And so if you can, if you have the money, I know things are tight, especially with COVID still running rampant in most of the world. There's still a lot of people out of jobs. I get it. But if you can afford to donate a little, I would highly appreciate it. I think there's some kids out there who would highly appreciate it as well. All right, so now we're going to move on to why I think most people are here and have clicked on the link, and that is the reaction. Santiago Pollo Gonzalez, you are the final person on the premium special selection list. After today, it'll be cleared out. There's still 92 left on the regular. Still a bit of a task ahead of me, but at least one of these lists are done. Request Behold the Grave by Dirt Poor Robins, a theatrical band with a sound similar to the Deer Hunter. Here's the link. Have a nice day. All right, let's get into this. Dirt Poor Robins sounds familiar. I'm not sure if we've done them before, maybe way earlier in the channel's lifetime, but maybe they're just highly requested. I don't know. For some reason the name's familiar though. So, but the fact that it's a theatrical band and he put them in league with the Deer Hunter tells me all I need to know. I'm excited. All right, let's get into this. Let's see what's up. Yeah, really nice ornamentation, atmosphere building. The lead lines are enthralling.
Behold the grave, still as the night time, with cries subdued by the earth above. No
Nice resolution there.
say,
Kept the tension even in the resolution.
God's deaf to their plight. When debts are drawn nigh, their pleas are shunned.
Oh, it's got a nice, like Tim Burton, Danny Elfman thing going on, and I am loving it.
Behold them here, these tortured grey folk. No comforts we spoke could wake them now from this nightmare. Beneath their headstones, last gasp of their hopes, choked by the ground.
Got some bells. Yes. Vocal harmonies. I'm here for all this. Yeah. I really hope that like funky rock comes back.
Behold her face,
Lots of beholding.
her beauty fades,
That word's popping up a lot. And it's in the title.
her grimace twisting, her wrinkled brow. What horrors chase her in
The only thing I'm missing right now is like a real explosive, heavier section. It doesn't need to be metal, but just a little heavier.
The time is now to draw her out.
Beautiful resolution into the string section. Really nice introduction to that with the fermata there. You can't have a section like this without arpeggios. I like the snare rattle. It does a really good job of laying down a little groundwork for all this. Sparse tambourine work. Oh, this needs to go somewhere. I'm excited. I'm pumped. There's there's no way. Why would they do that to me? I think I'm gonna cry. Why? Why would they rob me of what I wanted most? Oh man, we had it going there. Dang man. I'm not crying, but my eyes are watering a little bit. That is just oh man, that is not the way to end that section. All right. So it's really interesting to hear this back to back with yesterday's Epica Serenade of Self Destruction because there's actually a lot of really cool similarities going between the two. That's just completely, it's just a happenstance that it happened. It's not like it was planned out that way, but we have a lot of really cool vocal layering going on, some heavy, string and rock elements coming together to create a sort of orchestral rock sound, multiple sections that we kind of move through seamlessly. So it's just really cool to have those back to back. I'm not going to spend a whole video comparing the two because that's not what we're here for. I just wanted to point it out. It's really cool to have that sort of randomness that kind of delivered that little similarities between the two. Yeah, definitely though. Santiago said that this sounded, put it in the tier of the Deer Hunter. Well, the deer hunter, right? It's not DEER. It's not somebody who hunts deer. It's a hunter who is dear to someone, I assume. The deer hunter. We got to have the emphasis on the hunter and not the deer. I think really helps that. So yeah, I'd say this is definitely in leagues with the deer hunter, and there's a lot of similarities I see between this and some of their work. And again, that's as far as I'm going to do the compare and contrast. As far as those two are concerned, we're going to focus on Dirt Poor Robins. And I realize I have already rambled on and not really spoken about the band at all for a few minutes. So let's get into this. Um, yeah, there's a lot of elements in here that I really love. The vocal harmony work that went on. I would have liked to see a little bit of counterpoint going on, but beggars can't be choosers. It sounded good just doing harmony, singing the same part with different pitches. Um, it was just phenomenal. Their voices meld together very well, and I love the way that their textures sort of combine into a single sound. It's really good work there. Um, the instrumentation is insane. We have instruments all over the place. We have bells. I think I heard handbells and xylophones. There is a funky electric guitar sound that came up for a section. I don't even think it really came back. A lot of the song was more orchestral, more acoustic with its instrumentation. But that one section had that ah, real nice guitar solo. I was gonna say sweet guitar solo. It, I don't even know where that came from. That is not in my typical vernacular, and it just kind of popped out. I'm like, wow, why am I gonna say that? Yeah, it was a sweet guitar solo though. Never hear me say that on the channel again. Yeah, and it had like the funky like bass and drum stuff behind it. Really cool section. But a lot of this was strings. There's some trumpet. I want to say there was a tuba at one point. I heard a brassy sound that was very distorted, but it was only one time that I heard it, so I don't know if it was maybe a mixing thing or I don't know. It was like one note. I was like, is that a tuba? And I never heard it again. So not really sure. Definitely trumpet. We got strings. A lot of really cool little flourishes and embellishments that weren't really providing lead lines, but they were just adding to the atmosphere of the track. Um, and there's so many of them. I can't really point too many of them out just because they were there in an instant and gone in a flash. It's like, hey, let's have I don't know, a thing here. And then they do it and they're like, okay, we're done with it. Put it back in the closet. We recorded its part already. But just ways to add little touches and nuances to the atmosphere of the song. One thing I do want to point out specifically, though, is snare rattle. It was used in the build-up section, and it was very prominent at the beginning before we got too many layers in. And I thought it did a really good job of providing sort of sound floor for what was going on at the beginning. Once we got more layers, it wasn't so necessary, and I think it was, if not intentional, I mean, it might not have been intentional. It might have just been the way that things get layered, but it sort of got drowned out by the rest of the layers, which is fine. It kind of served its purpose there at the beginning to provide a sort of sound floor for the sparse instrumentation in that section. But I really like the way the little texture that it added. It's one of those things that you could easily miss on a first, second, maybe even a 10-time listen because it's not exactly prominent, but once you hear it, I think you'll never not be able to hear it. It is just always be there, and I think it's, I don't know, it's just a really good texture to put there. Like we could have just had silence and the strings, I think, that were carrying the melody there, and that would have been fine. Really, I mean, it's a slow burn section. You start with one instrument, and you're usually good to go. You kind of expect it to be a bit sparse, but just to have that little rattle going on. And what I mean by that, the snare rattle. So a snare drum has these beads under it, and you can turn the snare off, and I think it makes the beads lax where they're not touching the bottom drum head, because the snare has the top part and then of the bottom part. um, I think that's what it does, but otherwise they're touching it just ever so slightly, and when you hit it, the vibrations also affect the bottom drum head and they rattle up against the beads. I None of this is technical. None of this is like the technical wording for it. I am not a drummer. I have never played snare. The closest I've gotten to percussion instruments is cymbals and bells, marimbas and xylophones. Ooh, one of those nice big, huge bass drums that kind of like sit sideways in the thing, and you're like, doo, yeah, I got to play one of those. Um, what else did I do in the pit? I did a season of marching band in the pit because I was tired of marching, but I still enjoyed playing the music, so I did the pit once. And yeah, like I went from playing trumpet for like, what was it at that point? 7 years of playing trumpet almost. 6, 7 years. And I decided to do pit. Never played percussion stuff in my life, and I had to learn high end, like mallet work on marimba. Four mallets, two in each hand, and like the coordination. It was, oh man, that was a whirlwind season. I put in a ton of time learning a bunch of stuff, and then I never picked it up again. I went back to the trumpet. I do miss playing the marimba though. Love it. So yeah, going back talking about the snare and how it works. None of that's like the technical terms for it. Never played a snare. I just kind of know how it works. I don't know the names for all this stuff. But anyways, if you are if you have vibrations in the sounds around it that are loud enough, like a loud tuba, you're playing at fortissimo, and maybe that's enough to set it off. Maybe you have an electric guitar around and you got the amp cranked up or something. The vibrations can still get into that bottom drum head and rattle it, even though you're not striking it. You still get the rattle sound, and that's what I mean when I say the snare rattle. Um, and if you go back to that section, the very beginning of the slow burn, you can hear it. It's just this little rattle. Kind of sounds like a rattlesnake, just kind of sitting there forever. Like this rattle does not stop. And it's very easy to produce. Like I said, you just need to put a loud sound next to the snare drum, and then, well, I don't know how you would mic that because you would get the sound. You'd get the sound of the instrument too. Hmm. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. How would you get that? I don't know. Maybe there's an instrument out there that reproduces that sound. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm getting a little off topic here, but it's kind of blowing my mind. I'm like, yeah, I know how to make that sound, but how would you record it? But yeah, so that sits at the bottom of that section pretty much the whole way through. But like I said, it does get drowned out a bit near the end, which is fine because it served its purpose. And at the point where it gets drowned out, it's not really adding much anymore because there's so many new things to listen to and so much else that is filling the space. Um, I would say that something that kind of takes its place is the tambourine. It doesn't go continuously, but it pops up every 4 beats or so, and just a really nice, quick, sort of singular percussive sound, but a little louder. It's not as quiet as the snare rattle. So yeah, I'd say that kind of takes its place, and it's a bit more sparse because there's more stuff going on at the same time. So instead of hearing it continuously, you get it once a bar, and I think it does a good job at that. It kind of retains its same purpose as far as texture goes, um, but since there's so much else going on, it doesn't want to drown it out either. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't realize that when I was listening. They do kind of serve the same textural purpose. Um, Layering though, I think layering's what really gets me with this band. You go back and look at everything from the verse to the chorus to the end of the slow burn. There's are layers upon layers upon layers upon layers upon layers upon layers. And there's just so much going on, but they have a masterful way of mixing it where it doesn't really seem like that much. There's a lot of stuff that kind of gets regulated to the background or the sound floor, and the mixing on it is just done really well. It ends up almost melding into a single atmospheric sound. It is what is behind the vocalist or behind the lead section, and like I said, it's a phenomenal layering mix. It isn't my favorite idea as far as layering goes. I've mentioned in the past, I really like cleanly mixed layers where you can individually hear everything that's layered, and you can hear how they're playing around each other to kind of make sure they don't step on anybody's toes, nothing gets muddied up. That is my favorite kind of layering. But I also really appreciate this as well, where there's so much going on and the mix kind of, instead of making sure everything is unique and listenable, it kind of melds it into a single sound that sits behind what you're supposed to be focusing on, which is, lead violin or the vocalists when they're singing. And there's definitely a craft there that you have to appreciate to take all these ideas and basically fit them into a puzzle, right? Instead of having each piece on, standing on its own, they're all a part of a whole that kind of comes together as a single sound. And to take so many different textures and timbres and melodic and rhythmic ideas and kind of form it into a single sound, yeah, that's a craft, I'd say, definitely. And it just sounds so effortless here, seriously. um, if you really just listen to it casually, you don't do any sort of honing on single instruments or anything like that, and you are mostly going to be listening to the singers when they're going. There's five or six things going on in the background, but it just kind of sounds like the background, a singular entity. So yeah, that's just really cool. But I like how they can do the other side too, of kind of spotlighting everything, which I think shows up in the slow burn section, where you can kind of hear each individual aspect a little better. Everything's kind of outlined a little bit. You can hear each instrument and how they're adding together to the full sound. But I gotta take points away for that finale. I mentioned in the middle the only thing that I really wanted out of the song, somewhere at the 3 minute mark, was a big grandiose section. It didn't have to be hard rock or metal. We didn't need to have that specific sound, but I needed something a bit explosive, right? Just something to contrast a lot of the really beautiful, quieter aspects that took up the first half of the song. And I thought we were building up to it. We were getting so big, the sound was getting so wide, and we were going to explode into this next huge section, and it was going to be beautiful, whether it had harsh vocals or not, whether it had distorted guitars or not, whether it could have just went with some big tubas and trumpets and cellos to kind of provide some of that width that you would want out of a big explosive section. And we were building up to that, and then just we build and build and build and build and build, and then it's just flat. Like, where did the energy go? And it's just so disappointing. And I don't know. I only caught so much of the lyrics. I was paying a bit attention to them at the beginning because they were there in my face, but I realized I wasn't really tuning into a lot of the instruments going on, and that is kind of my bread and butter as far as analysis goes, is what's going on in the music. So I'm sure you might have noticed I kind of stopped looking at the screen, turned away from the lyrics. But the song is called Behold the Grave, and if the song is about an untimely death, I don't think they could have done that any better because that ending was unexpected. I don't know if that's what's going on in the story of the lyrics or what, but if that's not what's happening, and there's a way to tie that ending into some sort of lyrical narrative theme, I don't want a part of it. Why was that there? I'm so upset with it. Oh man. I don't think a song has made me so frustrated since we've started this channel. Just why? Why? Why would they do that? The song I would have killed to have another, I don't know, 90, 120 seconds, 2 minutes, and just kind of went into, that buildup is going somewhere. Go somewhere with it. See where it goes. Explore that big explosive section and then bring it down and end in a nice 16 bar, sparse, vulnerable section with a couple of strings. Or, I don't know, even just fade out. Fade out with a big explosive I don't care. I wanted that section and it just didn't happen. And I know I'm injecting a lot of bias into it here. If you're familiar with my channel, if you've been around for a while, that's what I do. I'm not here to tell you objective truths about music. There's no objective truths about art. This is how I feel about the song. I'm sure a lot of people really love that ending. I don't. I don't. I want so much more from this song. I want another minute or two out of this song. Nothing against Dirt Poor Robins though. The rest of the song's phenomenal, and this is only one track from them. Even if they only have one album, that's like at least 10 songs. So, assuming they only have one album, which I'm probably completely wrong, they probably have a few, that's still only 10% of their works. I'm not judging them on that. I just wanted more out of this song. I seriously did. All right. That wraps this one up. Dirt Poor Robins, Behold the Grave. This is where you guys come in, though. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you thought. Did you enjoy the song? Was it lacking anything for you? Was it a perfect track? Let me know. Hit me up with your thoughts. Above the comment section, the description box. In the description box is a bunch of links adjacent to the channel. However, if you're still around, I'm going to plug this one more time. Thank Miss 2020. Links to the critical reaction campaign is in there. Links to Jacksepticeye's announcement video is in there. Links to Red Nose Day is in there. All the information you could need for this campaign and fundraising event is in the description, as well as stuff like my Twitter and my Patreon and blocked YouTube videos, whatever. That stuff's not too important right now. The fundraising is really what I want to emphasize as far as the links go. Um, I should have mentioned this earlier. That'll be going on for like 2 weeks, I think. And every video is going to have that in there. I'm going to plug it at the beginning of every video. It won't be as long as this one. This is sort of my introduction, but I will mention the links in the description every video for 2 weeks. And also part of that is a live stream event. Jack is streaming on the 13th, which is the first official day of Thankmas, and he encourages as many people to stream as well to kind of set that off as the first big day. I will be doing a stream as well on YouTube. It'll be 3:30, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is what is that, like 8:30 to 9 p.m. UTC. I don't know what I'm doing. I might just take live requests and do reactions. I might do some light composition work. I don't really have anything in mind to compose right now, but I'm going to try to fill time and run a live stream as long as I can. I do have, I'm a dad and a partner, so I have familiar tasks and duties and stuff, but I have carved out a bit of time to do it. I'm excited for it, and it's for a good cause, so yeah. So like I said, that'll be Sunday the 13th. Yeah, Sunday. Yes, Sunday the 13th. I'll be doing an open live stream on YouTube. All right, that wraps this week up. Tomorrow we will start special selections. Hope you're not sick and tired of them. We've already had 7. We've got 2 more ahead of us, Saturday and Sunday. And then Monday, we are doing whatever the next one is. Hmm. Well, if you're listening this long, the 30-minute video, you probably don't mind waiting another couple of seconds to listen to me ramble as I try to figure out what's going on my channel. How do I not know this? 3 days away. I don't know what's going on. Let's see. Published. Oh, unusual instruments. All right, so that's cool stuff. Bands that use instruments that we don't hear all of the time. So, yeah, that starts Monday. So, yeah, 2 special selections, Saturday and Sunday. Sunday's also a live stream. Monday starts the unusual instruments. All right, I've rambled on long enough talking about stuff. Donation, just if you can, please. If not, like I said, that's understandable. It's a tough time. All right, what's the sign off? Oh yeah, you guys stay safe out. Until next time, you guys stay safe out there. Keep being awesome and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.